How do you do? And welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst of Lists. The best and worst. I'm your host for this evening's escapade. My name is Brighton Early, and what an honor it is to be here to lead you through an intellectual odyssey designed to provide a foil to deprogram those of you who've been victimized by an immersive cultural mechanism that I lovingly refer to as the third-party outsourced propaganda ministry. Most of you out there refer to it as mainstream media. Together, we shall eschew all of the trappings, all of them, of our indoctrinational, the manifestations of hideous intellectual slavery that our overlords have held us in captivity with since the beginning of Shiznaz. Okay? Today's top 10 worst of is really spectacular. I apologize for the issuance of fluids from my nasal cavity. How embarrassing. Oh, but I must sally forth. Oh, goodness. I have limited time. I'm on borrowed time. My recent test results were all negative. Abnormalities. I was agog when I perused them. Bright and early, fears for life. Fear for life does bright and early. So I apologize for any uninvited fluids that might intrude upon the special time we're having together. An alliance form you. It's today's top 10. This is a new endeavor for us at Top 10 Worst Of. I'm doing a calendar-based top 10 worst of. So today's list is top 10 worst list for May 12th, 2026. So this is, again, it's a new style. It's ordinarily what I've done, the top 10 worst ofs. The paragon of top 10 worst lists is, sort of pick a topic, a random sort of topic, and use that as a entree into a whole series of seemingly unrelated rants that it's a contrivance, really, for me to just, shake my fist at the dying of the light. But here, instead, I'm just doing, will it be stuff that I saw in the news today from May 12th, 2026? Or will it just be random ideas that I thought of that day? Or is it going to be something, a combination of both? Or is it going to be something totally different? I don't even know. Because a lot of people think that these lists are I'm just making them out spontaneously. I'm not even really reading off something. I'm just pretending to read when I go, like seemingly looking at stuff. Pardon my French. My blatant distraction of picking my nose and blatant. Sorry about that. Anyway, so ordinarily it would just be like something like, I don't know what, but these lists are put together by a very skilled and observant group of former public relations specialists who gather together with me outside of the Coca-Cola bottling plant and take copious doses of ether mixed with depleted uranium to come up with these lists. But before we go into it, I just have a couple of disclaimers. Number one, I'm sort of an oddball, so what I say here I cannot be trusted, cannot be relied upon. If you hear something that you think, well, maybe there's a grain of truth in that, maybe this is just, puffery from a bloated, delusional madman, which, hey, I could see, people, maybe defaulting to that sort of interpretation. I'm threatening your brainwashing and, doing what I can to pound my way through the brick walls that you've layered yourself behind for so many years since you first had a sense of your own self and I get it. There's a defense mechanism built into the sort of brainwashing that makes it difficult for people to be able to be deprogrammed. They get, they lash out against people who are trying to intrude upon the brainwashing, denial, and, violent, rude, reactionary behavior. It's a darn shame, is what it is. But in a world where we're getting doused with the flood the zone, Bulldink arena mentality, is a naysayer like me would never run out of material. I do just go through the news articles of the day and just do a top 1,000 worst of list at this point on a daily basis. But I insist that you look up anything that you find is, too outrageous or that, runs right up against your programming. Go ahead and look it up for yourself, for a change. Be your own fact checker. Christ's sakes. Why you rely on all these, obviously paid off people who've been cherry picked for their own complacency and their own willingness to be able to sell their souls to the man just to make a buck in order to have like some sort of illusion of a comfortable lifestyle like that makes a difference in this world. And I'm not, number two, I'm not partisan. I'm not going to play that game anymore. I'm not, going to allow myself to be used as a tool of the aristocracy. And they clearly have decided that the best way for them to be able to thrive is through having everybody underneath them, all the have-nots and whatnot, to be fighting amongst themselves so they don't turn their scorn against the Ubermenschen. So I'm not going to play the game anymore. And I'm not talking about hate groups and stuff like that. I'm not being an apologist for all that stuff. Of course not. I'm not a freaking idiot or a hateful person. I'm just trying to find a way out of the oppressiveness of the malefactors who are in charge. And we don't have the money. We don't have any institutions. We don't have any real party that represents the working class at all anymore in the power apparatus of any aspect of our society, be it economic, cultural, political, educational. Heck, in 9 times out of 10 cases, we're not even in charge of our own body or medical decisions. We've got so many different People with the bully pulpit are fully compromised. They've got their own political agenda that they're using in place of intelligence or science, and we don't have any idea what the, objective truth is. So how are we supposed to know what the hell? And people say that, the focus on red dye number 2 is going to be wiping us all off the planet. So there needs to be the immediate first thing that we work against is fighting against the pernicious intrusion of red dye number 2 into our physiognomy. Yeah, right. And pregnant women can't eat fish anymore because there's so much toxic mercury in fish that pregnant women can't even eat fish. And we're let's start with red dye number 2. Well, give us a melanoma when we're 150. Jesus Christ. So dumb. All right, so anyway, you get that. The one thing left that we've got before we indulge ourselves in today's list is the regrettable commercial sponsors. Always so popular with the listeners. Oh man, these are so bad. I'm just trying to breeze through them here to find out if there's even one. Brainless Wonder Woman. For brainless wonders like all of you that are living in modern day America with your 5th grade reading level on average. Brainless Wonder Woman. New on the WB. Do they still have a WB network? Oh, that's it. I don't have anything else. Oh. So much agony. Woo! Woo! I almost nipped myself in the buds. Sheepless in Seattle, from the producers of Sleepless. Tom Hanks. America's Dad. See, America's Dad now. America's Dad, Tom Hanks. Let's do movies validating commerciality, racism, and indoctrination to the new corporate ethos. Let's do a 90-minute infomercial for FedEx about a guy who works for FedEx who gets stranded on an island where there's nothing but palm trees and FedEx packages. And we'll call it FedEx the Movie. I'm Tom Hanks' agent. FedEx the Movie, You Got Mail, which is like the advertising line for AOL. Tom Hanks, Michael Jordan. These guys, they can't pass up a commercial endorsement. America's Dad. America's Dad is the biggest sellout in white bread history. I'll do a movie for the biggest white bread racist suburbanite ethos spouting sellout jerk offs I can. Mr. Spielberg. Can I please do another white bread movie? How about we do a World War II movie where there are no black people fighting on the front lines at Omaha Beach? And we'll call it Saving Private White Boy. And we'll have no black people anywhere in positions of heroism. And it'll be all white people. And everywhere there'll be only white people. In America, there'll be only white people. I'm sorry, what? Oh, yeah, we'll have Mr. Spielberg call me back when he's available. Well, that's what these people are. God damn it. Why not call it like I see it? Wait, hang on a second. Ooh. Jennifer Lawrence of Arabia? I remember Jennifer Lawrence like 10, 12 years ago. There were nude pictures of her that leaked out online. and she, I mean, there's stories everywhere about how upset she was about this invasion of privacy. My nudity is compromised. My nudes. And he put up all this big promotional fuss. I'm sure it was tied in with some kind of movie or something that she was releasing at the time. You know how it gets with these PR boys and girls, I guess. And then she does this movie. What was that movie where where she hires herself out to go to Pound Town with this 18-year-old? And she's like, at this point when she's doing the movie, she's like, I don't know, 45 or whatever, 50. She gets completely naked for this movie. I don't have sorry, all you pervs and naughty personas out there. I don't have the time code for when she appears nude in the movie. I can't even remember the name of the thing. Not without my daughter, I think. Norma Ray. You like me? You really like me? It's Jennifer Lawrence of Arabia. The perfect movie for, hypocrisy and May-December romances. It's not even May-December. That movie is like January-December. Vietnamiste? The new version of War and Peace, Vietnamiste. Merger on the Orient Express? That's okay. Like, modern day take on Murder on the Orient Express. It's merger for corporate consolidations. Hi, is Mr. Spielberg available? This is Tom Hanks. I'll hold. Ooh. Listen to the clear tone of my bell today. Power apparatus is in for a thrashing, I think. All right, so anyway, this is the new top 10 worst of idiom that I'm working with. The very first top 10 worst of list for a specific day, 5/12/26. Now, in this case, I didn't go straight with the, right into the news and just kind of plow through the news stories and everything like that. I just sat down and thought of a bunch of worst things in the world that I could think of off the top of my head. Okay? So this is just a daily, review of stuff that was bugging me today. Okay? Are you okay with this? Are we ready can we go now? Can we do this? All right, number 10 of the top 10 worst list for May 12th, 2026. Why does the Minions movie, Minions Rise of Gru, have a Ted Nugent song in it? Ted Nugent? It's like, are they trying to support that, ultra right-wing a-hole, or did he join in the hundreds of major artists who sold their music rights to corporations and didn't even see a penny of it anymore? I don't know. There's so many people who sold the rights to their music to corporations now. It's almost as if it's like, it's like when before, if a popular rock and roll musician would have appeared as a panelist on American Idol or The Voice or any of those stupid ass fake talent shows and stuff like that, they would be considered a sellout. Now, if you don't serve on a panel of one of these shows, you're considered weird, or, if you aren't selling out, it's like, I guess, kind of a sign that you're not really as big and important as you could have been. It's so incredibly messed up that and reverse itself, where selling out is now cool and not selling out is considered kind of like weird. It's like, what's up with that guy for not selling out? Anyway, let me just try to breeze through. I've got a list that I've compiled right now. I'm trying. The biggest news this week was over the weekend. I saw an article that the Red Hot Chili Peppers had sold out their music catalog to Warner Brothers for 100 something million, whatever it is. And it's like, I mean, but anyway, startlingly ever expanding, not so very good list of artists lining up to sell their souls to the corporate overlords list includes, and again, this is 163. Bob Dylan sold his publishing catalog to Universal for 3 to 400 million. Neil Young sold 50% of his career catalog to Hypnosis for 150 million. Stevie Nicks sold a majority stake in her songs to Primary Wave for 100 million. Imagine Dragons, everything they'd done up until a year or so ago, 100 million. Whitney Houston's estate sold her entire catalog to Primary Wave for undisclosed amount. Disturbed sold their entire catalog to Primary Wave, price undisclosed. Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac sold all of the songs and solo material, undisclosed amount. Blondie, 197 songs. It's probably the bulk of their catalog to Hypnosis. Chrissy Hynde from The Pretenders sold everything she did to Hypnosis, price undisclosed. Let's see if I can find some big ones here. Beach Boys sold their catalog, everything, to Irving Azoff's Iconic Artists for a price undisclosed. Paul Simon sold everything to Sony Music Publishing. Red Hot Chili Peppers, like I mentioned. Prince's estate sold a 50% stake of the rights to his name and likeness and masters and publishing to Primary Wave. Let's see here, Breezing. Motley Crue sold all the recordings and catalog to BMG for between 90 and 150 million. Bruce Springsteen sold 300 songs, 20 studio albums, 23 live albums, and more to Sony, estimated at $500 million. ZZ Top sold their entire music interest to both BMG and KKR. I don't know how that split up for $50 million. David Bowie's entire catalog went to Warner Chappell for $250 million. John Legend sold his music catalog to BMG and KKR at a split price undisclosed. Nancy Wilson of Heart sold a large share of the catalog from Heart to Roundhill Music, price undisclosed. Travis Tritt sold. Def Leppard sold. Alice in Chains sold. Sting sold entire music catalog to Universal Music Publishing, $300 million. Neil Diamond sold his complete song catalog and all master recordings to Universal for something around $300 million. Leonard Cohen's estate sold 270 songs, including Hallelujah, which has been covered over 300 times to Hypnosis. It's Justin Timberlake sold everything to his Hypnosis. Frank Zappa's recording song catalog, 1,000+ hours of audio and video to Universal Music, price undisclosed. Brad Paisley music catalog to Harborview Equity Partners. Chuck D of Public Enemy sold a chunk of his share in Public Enemy songs to Reach Music Publishing. Genesis, Phil Collins, Tony Banks, and Mike Rutherford sold the rights to Concord for an estimated $300 million. Blake Shelton sold his recording catalog to Influence Media Partners. Oh man, and it goes on. I'm skimming through this as fast as I can, but I think you could probably see Justin Bieber interests in his publishing and recorded rights to Hypnosis for approximately $200 million. Oh man, it's just like this preponderance of people are selling out their catalogs. Judas Priest, everything related to their first albums to Reach Music Publishing. Timbaland publishing catalog sold to Anthem. On and on and on. And it's sad. I mean, that's part of, again, corporations taking over everything. And now they're even taking over the personas of the people that we think of as independent artists that are, totally plugged in to the corporate ethos and totally sold out. There's absolutely no representation of individuality in any aspect of our culture whatsoever. Number 9 of the top 10 worst of list for May 12th, 2026, how was it decided that the North Pole was up and that the South Pole is down? Is it like surreptitious white power to call the Northern Hemisphere up? Is that where it came from? Because all, Western Europe, when I guess these maps were like initially sort of promulgated, that, Northern Europe, where all the white people were, they wanted to, and the Southern Hemisphere, where a lot of people of darker complexion were congregated, was wanted to be projected as inferior by the white power apparatus as it evolved when Western Europe was the centralized power of the world. And so white people were up on top and darker people were down below. But really, Earth is a ball floating through space. So who's to say what's up and what's down? I mean, do we really... Why do we call the North Pole when it could be just as easily be the South Pole? I mean, our perspective is so skewed by millennia of pre-chewed and digested perspectives that are fed to us that skewed every aspect of our comprehension of the world around us. That's the Northern Hemisphere could it's as easily be the Southern Hemisphere on the bottom. So the hemisphere with the most white people was called up as on top. It's a massive amount of indoctrination in just that one idea that white people are on top. People of color are below the white people. I don't know if you get it. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get it, or if you'll ever be able to use this to throw off the shackles of the yoke of oppression. It's unlikely. But I'm doing everything I can to point these things out for you to just ruminate. Number 8 of the top 10 worst of list for May 12th, 2026. If you call it a banana peel, right, for bananas, why do they call it peeling a banana? It should be called unpeeling a banana, right? You're taking away the peel, so you're de-peeling it, exposing it, undressing it. You're not peeling it. Peeling would be putting the peel on, attaching a peel to the banana. Now, is the banana just the fruit inside? You can't grow a banana from scratch, or a banana tree, or whatever the hell they grow them off of. There's no such thing. They have to make a new banana tree from a clipping of an old banana tree. And the Cavendish banana, the one that we love, that we adore, we are devoted to, is like on borrowed time. And so is chocolate and coffee, all on borrowed time. And people are talking about, it's lately been like all this, exposing all this lab-grown chocolate and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, if in a world without chocolate, the living would envy the dead. I mean, there's very few things in life that are worth living for at this juncture. Everybody is predisposed to hating everyone else. It's almost impossible to put a relationship together that has any legs and any permanence or any whatever. People are so confrontational and picky about every little stupid ass thing, and stupid dummies. Hardly, able to control their fury, unable to forgive, unable to accept, unable to embrace others unconditionally. that we're turning widespread to calling pets like members of the family like they're human. Pets are not human. Pets would eat you. When you die, pets would eat you. If you're abandoned for days and stuff like that, they don't have anything else, they will eat your body. Especially cats. I don't trust them. Cats, stingers, and will give you. I honestly believe that all the bags and billions upon billions of giant, thick plastic bags full of cat poop and urines, with the non-biodegradable kitty litter that we've mindlessly abandoned into gigantic landfills. The fecus is gestating in those baggies, and when they get punctured, and they will get punctured. Oh yes, they will get punctured, and the essence of this fermented disease will spew out of these non-biodegradable, ultra-thick plastic bags and permeate its way into the water table and cause a fecus-based toxin that obliterates the human race. And it won't be, no one will miss the human race. To just be like, oh, good riddance to bad rubbish. Number 7. Oh, this is perfect. See, I was precognizant. Top 10 worst of list for May 12, 2026. Number 7, cats with them teeth. And this isn't just an extemporaneous ad-lib riff here. This is actually number 7. It's about cats. It's just so... It's that collective unconscious thing, whatever. Cats with the teeth, those teeth that they got, makes them look like they're vampires. To me, it makes cats look like vampires to me. Are cats vampires? Seriously, they got the vampires' teeth and stuff, and they're keeping a secret. You look at a cat, that something's going on there. The way they look at you. It's just like, whoo, chill out, man. Cats don't vibe. We think the cats vibe with us and stuff. They show up. They want to, they don't have other, means of being able to get, tactile gratification. And so they'll rub up against, who the hell knows why they rub up against us and all that, why their ass slips up every time you pet them on the back, and then you get to the back and the ass bumps up like that. Who the hell knows why their ass bumps up like that? Are they presenting for something? Obviously not going to happen. Sorry. But you're, the freaking detached, emotionally ambiguous cat personas. It could, obviously give or take any stuff. And they bring you a dead bird or something like that. It's supposed to make you think that they feel like they're part of the family. A dead bird is like a threat. It's like the dead horse's head in The Godfather. The cat's making you an offer that you can't refuse. He sleeps. My owner sleeps with the birds. Take the gun, leave the cannoli. Wait, no, how's that go? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. That's your cat. That's what's going. That's what your cat says to other cats. When they're gaslighting you. But cats are vampires. Okay, they got the vampire teeth. I'm sorry, but they're more closely related to vampires than they are, I don't know, like other animals that are, clearly engaged in having some type of happy relationship with their alphas. I don't know. The whole pet thing is weird. It's all derived off of our inability to be able to connect with each other. And now people think of pets as family. They aren't. It's delusional behavior. And it's leaving a lot of people in the lurch because now we're so focused. So many people are so focused on that being a part of their lives that they're denying all the suffering and the need in the world around them and just detaching from it and just letting it ride. Just scrape it off your shoes and move on to the next stupid ass wasted life that you'll indulge in. The same amount of food that we spend on recreational pets is the same amount of money that it would take to feed the world in a world where 9 million people die every year from starvation-related causes. And on top of that, it's not just pets, obviously. It's also the fact that, we throw away 30% of the food that we manufacture for our sustenance. And something's got to give. We're responsible for that. We make those choices. Whether we have considered all the ramifications of the choices that we're faced with, we still make them. Ignorance is no excuse. When you say, oh, well, I got a recreational pet because I didn't know that 9 million people are starving to death, so I'll just buy cat food. Or I'll rant and rave over, people using plastic bags for groceries because plastic bags are so much less biodegradable than the paper ones that are sprayed with heavy amounts of chemicals in order to be able to make them strong enough to carry canned goods. And they're 10 times heavier than plastic bags, so it takes 10 times, and bulkier, and it takes 10 times as many trucks to ship to the frickin' grocery store from the manufacturing plant. And 10 times the diesel, and 10 times the labor, 10 times the cost, and 10 times the Black Death that will infiltrate its way into our lungs. We need recreational pets and paper bags for everyone until we're all dead. Dead, I tells ya. Number 6, the top 10 worst of lists for today. Socrates was put to death for blaspheming the Greek gods. Right? Okay, not fake news, not conspiracy theory, just an observation, a historical fact. Okay, something that you can look up for yourself, you freaking moron, you stupid, blind bastard. What should be the punishment for blaspheming Greek gods today? If I were to say, like Zeus is a jagoff, or Zeus had sex with some married lady who was somehow still a virgin, whose husband Joseph didn't give a rat's ass about his wife committing adultery with a god. Something about that sounds familiar. If I were to publicly proclaim that Zeus was a jerk, would I be forced to drink hemlock? Should I be forced to drink hemlock? And why shouldn't I if I shouldn't be? And why should I if I should be? For that matter. Would I be made an example of and be martyred if I were to say that Zeus was a sheep shagger? All right? Probably not. But Socrates said something like that and was put to death. So, all these perspectives and everything like that should give us some sort of idea of this kind of like, the sort of abstract nature of our enslavement by these. The power brokers will say whatever they want to say in order to be able to keep their power. Number 5. Everyone's got so hyped up on saving the rainforest. How come no one is on about saving the Rainforest Cafe. Worldwide, at this point, I mean, there were like 100, 200, 300 something, I don't know, Rainforest Cafes at their peak. But worldwide, there are only 62 franchises at the time of my research for this of the restaurant left in the entire world. So sure, yeah, saving the rainforest, great, whatever. You've done such a great job at that. Sting and Springsteen and Bono, where are you when we need you to save the frickin' Rainforest Cafe from going extinct? Am I right? I mean, remember all that plastic stuff and all the, cosmetic filigree that they'd fill the rainforest in the gift shop? The frickin' gift shops for Rainforest Cafe are endangered. What is wrong with you, people? Let's get together and fight the good fight. Number 4 of the top 10 worst of lists, which is just really for, things I thought of May 12th to 2026. Where's all the blonde presidents? Okay, so you got Trump, who's the redhead president, right? Or gray hair, whatever you want to call it. He's a comb over president. But where's all the blonde presidents? Has there been a blonde president? Gerald Ford? It's weird, and I don't mean to be perpetuating any sort of objectifications here, but Gerald Ford, I guess, was blonde, right? And yet he was known as being clumsy dope who was falling all over himself, and Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live, all that stuff. The one blonde president I can think of was also a ditz. And I'm not trying to. It's just, sort of uncanny. I'm not trying to be, like dumb blonde perpetuating that myth, because clearly we've had lots of blondes who weren't dummies. You got all the talking heads on Fox News, Megyn Kelly's and et ceteras, and all those cookie cutter rubber stamped blondes that they keep tossing up there. Whatever, they got to have a modest level of intelligence and unflappability and ability to think on their feet, in order to be able to make sure that they stay on point for the Fair and Balanced network. It's so fair and it's so balanced. What? And then you got Hill Dog. Hill Dog's obviously, she's no ditz, right? She's a blonde. Hill Dog. People, others. So I think we've. All right, number 3, the top 10 worst stuff. Let's just move along. Nothing to see here. So global warming is by design to accommodate the lizard people as we transition to the lizard people taking full control. But hear me out here. It all makes sense now. Now that I think about it, because lizards like it warm. Okay, so obviously lizard people, right? I mean, clearly, look, I don't want to be one of those people, but look, I am. I'm sorry, I am one of those people. And so, you get like, hang on a second. I got it here for you. Give me 1 second here. I'll get it somewhere. Hang on. I'm sure I will find it for you. 1 second. I'm closing in on it. Here we go. And it's the all-encompassing list of lizard people. Now, there used to be occasionally you get like somebody who, you'd look at them and cultural epochs uh, of yore that you'd look at them and go like, that's not human. I'm thinking of Harriet from Ozzie and Harriet sticks out to me as clearly that, whatever that thing was, whatever that creature was, human was not it. And, but it's getting few and far between where stuff and whatnot in the old days, in the cultural realm, where you'd see people and really question as to whether or not they were human. But in today's day and age, man, it's like super commonplace. It's more anomalous to have a cultural endeavor that doesn't have people in it that clearly seem to not really be fully human. I have a list, and it goes something like this of people that I honestly believe are not human or creatures, monsters. I don't know. Maybe they're not. I don't know what that is, but I really think that global warming plays a role in it. Anyway, let's the list: Jared Kushner, Carrot Top, Kirsten Dunst, Dame Judi Dench, Benedict Cumberbatch, Barry Keoghan, whatever his name, Hill Dog, Alice from the Brady Bunch movies, not the TV show, the movies, Meghan Markle, Melania Trump, Emperor Snoke from the Disney era Star Wars stiff-ass bulldink, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rihanna, Mads Mikkelsen, Cillian Murphy. Now, I don't watch a lot of television. I read news mostly, so I don't know some of the pronunciations of these names because I never really hear them spoken. I just read them. Lauren Boebert, Mark Zuckerberg, Tom Hiddleston, Paul Dano, Maya Rudolph, Andy Serkis, Tilda Swinton, Mila Kunis, Snooki. Look at the thing at the back end of Mila Kunis's head. She's got this extra hump. It almost looks like one of the head shape, almost like a reduced size, but of the creatures in the movie Alien. And I saw that, what's her name? God damn it, I always forget her stupid ass name. She's got one too, though. If I remember her name, I'll try to sneak it in at some point. Adam Driver, Elon Musk, Nicole Kidman, Britney Spears, Daniel Craig, Rob Schneider, Chris Red, Pope Benedict, that crazy Nazi Pope guy. You remember that guy? Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner. For sure, that guy is not human. Paul Giamatti, Bobby Flay, Stephen Miller, Jaden Smith, Greta Thunberg, whatever, Ann Coulter, Cameron Diaz, Marilyn Manson, Paris Hilton, Pete Davidson, Lindsey Graham, Robin Pattinson, Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal, Cory Booker, Kathy Griffin, Sophie Turner, Camilla Parker Bowles. That's not a human being. No goddamn way that's a human being. Katy Perry, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Sheeran, Sarah Palin, Fred Armisen, Jay Leno, Anna Gasteyer, Colin Jost, Vanessa Trump, Carrie Lake, Jimmy Fallon, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Norm Macdonald, Chris Kattan, Ashton Kutcher, Jared Leto, Kris Jenner, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Martha Stewart, Adam Schiff, Kate Middleton, Kirsten Gillibrand, Ron DeSantis, Machine Gun Kelly, Keegan-Michael Kay, Eric Andre, Post Malone, Ted Cruz, Padma Lakshmi, Wanda Sykes, the Jonas Brothers, all of them. No way. John Legend, Susan Collins, Paris Hilton, Jennifer Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, John Oliver, Finn Wolfhard, Timothy Chalamet, Christy Teigen, Blake Griffin, Billie Eilish, Adam Levine, Adam Driver, Halsey, Daniel Radcliffe, Jennifer Garner, Matt Gaetz, Savannah Guthrie, Rooney Mara, Lorde, Millie Bobby Brown, Elijah Wood, Cardi B, Tom Holland, Tracy Ellis Ross, Tessa Thompson, Kate Blanchett, Nicholas Hoult, Emma Thompson, Zoe Saldana, Tyler Perry, Pedro Pascal, Kieran Culkin, Riley Gaines, Conan O'Brien, Alex Rodriguez, Priyanka Chopra, Blake Lively. And again, this is a list I just prepared, while I was sitting on the toilet one day. This is the casual observations of one lone fringe element nut job. It's the age of the lizard people, and that's why they're doing global warming. Because the lizard people need things warmer. It's not artificial. It's not man-made. It's not inadvertent. It's not just, it's sort of, a cyclical element of nature that's happening without our participation whatsoever. It's intentional. They're warming the planet for the lizard people to take over. Or the lizard people have already taken over, and they're the ones who are warming the planet so they feel more comfortable here. Sorry, not sorry. Number two, worst things I thought of today. Why does the bride have to wear a veil? Shouldn't the husband wear one too? I mean, what's the whole thing with a bride having to wear a veil? Being the only one having to wear have the best man wear a veil. See how he likes it. Number one of the top 10 worst of list for May 12th, 2026. Let's place a moratorium on having sign language interpreters at government level events and news conferences with people starving, homeless, uninsured, and struggling in general. Can we really afford to have sign language interpreters at government press conferences and such? It's great if we had the money, but we don't have the money. They make around $70,000 a year, or $40 an hour, on average. And in the big cities where they utilize most of these people, they're probably making more. Life is just about, it's just as much about priorities and making tough choices. And I'm reading this, I apologize, but I wanted to make sure I got my thoughts clear on this complicated issue. And the idea that people would choose to have, sign language interpretation of a press conference of idiots saying idiotic things and telling you how they're going to waste your money and your lives and your energy and misappropriate funds towards things that shouldn't be prioritized at all, and leave you bankrupt in the wake of all that incredible waste and stupidity and misappropriations and denying areas of immediate need in order to be able to just waste money and bankrupt everybody without leaving any benefits whatsoever to the working class of the people that are represented by their political parties. Why would we choose that over having shelter or feeding those in need or providing health care for those that can no longer afford it themselves? Is so much more urgent and important, and yet we see these people misappropriate our funds and represent themselves as heroic and cool, and everybody who would complain about it as being, malevolent in some way. I'm not trying to hurt deaf people by not having sign language interpretations. We got along just fine for hundreds of years without sign language interpretations in news conference type of situations. Didn't we? I mean, is it really for people dying or living on the streets and freezing and starving, and children who are being brought up without a decent education or educational opportunities to be able to level the playing field for them to have a decent life? When rich people are getting so many more advantages than they are right now, are you going to make that choice? We're going to say we need to have interpretations at news conferences instead of spending every available penny that we have trying to avoid people from falling through the cracks and living lives in abject misery and thinking that nobody cares about them. It just doesn't make any sense. Who are the evildoers? Not the people who are complaining about the misappropriation of funds. It's the people who are pointing a finger at the people who are pointing out the poor prioritization of limited resources. I had somebody come at me the other day for complaining that the city plans on spending $6 billion, that they're already $1.2 billion in debt. They're planning on spending $6 billion to build four extra stops on a train line that already has two different train lines that are running through the area. And people are like, how dare you complain about this is expensive, you're a racist and everything like that. It's completely nuts. It's completely, people don't even know what the hell they're even saying. It's just like, you complain about the illogical nature and the hurtful nature of misappropriating funds that we don't even have, that we have to go into a massive amount of debt that we may never escape from, that might bankrupt the city forever. And using those funds to create theoretical jobs, like build 3 extra train stops, and it's going to block the biggest expressways in Chicago, where I'm from, for possibly years. And Chicago's an enormous hub for the transportation of goods and services throughout the northern central United States. And it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. I would say if you're going to spend $6 billion, spend it on building factories in the areas that you think are underserved. And can bring you real jobs that have, like immediate jobs, economic viability, build industrial farms and warehouses and stuff like that into these economically depressed areas. You don't need to start busing people all over the goddamn city. Just build the jobs in those centralized locations. Bring the money right there. And plus, the money that they're spending on the $6 billion that they're using to build these stupid-ass 3 train stops, is most of it's going to a foreign company. I mean, these people are doing it. Our infrastructure is also, train infrastructure throughout the entire region is ready to collapse too. It needs billions of dollars worth of upgrades and rehabs. And so you're going to spend $6 billion that you don't have on creating 4 train stops. It's going to block all the competitive shipping that's going through this urban area for years, to further decrease the economic viability of this region. And then you've got all these other train lines that are falling into disrepair that you're going to have to borrow more billions for. Once we take care of the life or death issues of suffering people and crumbling infrastructures that endanger us all, then we can return to spending on such dalliances and indulgences as freaking sign language interpreters and extra train lines going into areas that are already serviced by train line, 2 of them, for these poser, jerk-off, self-serving, phony politicians. Hey, we've done it. How do you like that? In less than an hour. Oh my God. Less than an hour. All right, well, what a pleasure it's been here to bring you this fantastic list. Wow. And what it's a labor of love. I'm just, reaching out, trying to, get us all together. We can find a jumping off point that's not jumping off of a cliff for once, where we can all together sing Kumbaya, and not just like these sort of robotic, phoned-in Kumbaya that so many of us have been singing for so long, without any heart and soul really invested into it. I'm talking about a full-throated Kumbaya from the bottom of our souls, the pit of our stomachs, screamed out at levels that heretofore unheard in the human dialectic. And I want to remind everybody that today's episode was full of conjecture and opinions only. These are just my opinions. It's me, musings of me, looking at the world and trying to, sort of identify all the messages and, channel them into something that I feel is important and relevant. I don't know, man. And go ahead and hate all you want. I mean, but the fact of the matter is that I got no skin in the game. I'm not trying to win you over to my way of thought. I insist that you do your own research on some of the things that I might have said that you feel are inappropriate. I mean, you should read up on the relative instability of Cavendish bananas and for yourself, and how chocolate is endangered. You need to save the goddamn chocolate before. I mean, what's a world without chocolate? What's the point of living? Anyway, it's been such a pleasure. And what an honor it is to be able to bring you and to know that the award-winning top 10 worst of list has been so gratifying. And I see it in your comments. So many of you. It's just pure unadulterated love. And so, thanks, for listening and tuning in. And I mean that. And I want you to keep on searching, keep on trying, turn off the impulses for the sheep mentality, and go for it. Be a real human being, and we'll catch you next time. Okay. Oh, wait.